Something about the current state of the Minnesota Vikings just feels incomplete, and we need to talk about it. The front office has been busy, but multiple reports suggest they are actively hunting for one more edge rusher before training camp begins to shore up the defensive depth. It is a massive deal because relying solely on Dallas Turner and a recovering Andrew Van Ginkel is a dangerous gamble in Brian Flores' aggressive scheme. And honestly, the more details come out, the harder it is to ignore what is going on behind the scenes. Smash that like button, subscribe, and comment your city. Let's get into it. As the Minnesota Vikings head toward training camp for the 2026 season, the most pressing concern for our front office under general manager Nolan Teasley is the urgent need for additional depth at the edge rusher position. While we successfully brought in new talent during the draft and addressed the quarterback room, there is a lingering feeling that our defensive rotation remains incomplete. Dallas Turner is slated to step into a primary role after an impressive progression where he moved from 12 pressures in 310 defensive snaps as a rookie to 42 pressures and 9 sacks last season, according to Pro Football Focus. The truth is, we are counting on Turner to carry the torch, but the roster drop-off behind him and Van Ginkel is a significant worry for many of us who remember Van Ginkel's injury-plagued 2025 campaign. Whether we pursue free agents like Jadeveon Clowney or look toward trades for players like Myles Murphy, the urgency is palpable among the fan base because defensive coordinator Brian Flores requires reliable, experienced pieces to effectively run his complex system. Some fans are understandably nervous about relying too heavily on unproven depth, fearing a single injury could derail the progress we made this offseason. The organization must be proactive rather than waiting for the season to reveal these cracks in the foundation. With training camp just around the corner, we have to ask ourselves if the current list of available veterans is truly enough to turn this defense into a championship-level unit. If the front office decides against adding a proven veteran right now, are we comfortable risking the entire season on the development of our younger, less experienced rotation players against the high-powered offenses waiting for us on the schedule? The most urgent concern for our Vikings as we head into training camp is that our pass rush remains thin despite the high expectations placed on our young talent. This precarious situation stems from the 2025 campaign, which saw our defensive depth eroded by health setbacks. Specifically, our rotation was severely hampered when the unit endured a season where a key contributor was limited to just 12 games due to a neck injury and a concussion. We are relying heavily on internal development to bridge this gap, yet we must remember that relying on youth is always a calculated risk for any front office. If we look at the history of this franchise, we have seen time and again that championship-caliber defenses require experienced bodies on the edge to stay fresh through a grueling schedule. And I cannot stress this enough, the decision-makers in Minnesota are likely feeling the heat to bolster this group before the first whistle blows. They are weighing the trade market, potentially looking at players like Myles Murphy or James Houston, while balancing that against the cost of acquiring veteran help like Yetur Gross-Matos. While we trust the scouting department to find hidden gems, the coaching staff likely prefers a proven commodity who understands the complexities of a professional defensive scheme immediately. It is a delicate balance of protecting our long-term salary cap health and maximizing our current window to compete with the top teams in the NFC. If the front office chooses to be patient and lets the in-house options battle for snaps, they are betting everything on the growth of our rookies. However, the smart move is to secure one more reliable veteran piece to ensure that our defense remains one of the most feared units in the entire league this coming season. The front office has reached a pivotal juncture because the current vacancy on our defensive edge represents the final piece of the puzzle before the heat of training camp arrives. We are looking at a roster that has undergone significant renovation, yet the lack of proven depth behind Dallas Turner and the injury history of Andrew Van Ginkel creates a precarious situation for our pass rush. According to Pro Football Focus, Turner proved his value by logging 42 pressures and 9 sacks last season, but we simply cannot afford to rely on him alone. This is where it gets real, as we must consider if a veteran addition like Jadeveon Clowney or a trade target could stabilize a group that currently lacks reliable insurance. Without a secondary pass rusher who is ready to contribute immediately, our defensive front risks fatigue during the grueling grind of a full season. We need players capable of executing the complex schemes designed by Brian Flores, especially when we face high-powered offenses in our division. If we fail to address this position, our ability to pressure the quarterback in critical matchups against the Bears or the Lions could be severely compromised. That drop in production would directly jeopardize our standing in the standings and lower our ceiling for the postseason push. Adding another body on the edge would not just provide relief. It would cement our defense as a unit that can dictate the tempo rather than merely reacting to the opponent. Whether we pull the trigger on a trade for a player like Myles Murphy or sign a free agent, the priority must be finding a professional who understands the system and can step in during the opening weeks. Securing this depth is the smartest path to ensuring that our 2026 campaign results in a deep run toward a championship. The Vikings must address the glaring depth issues at edge rusher before training camp begins to ensure our defense remains competitive throughout a grueling season. By adding a veteran contributor, we gain immediate insurance against injury, which proved vital after last year, and we allow promising youngsters more time to develop under defensive coordinator Brian Flores. The upside is clear because a seasoned rotational piece would keep our primary defenders fresh for crucial fourth-quarter situations. However, the counter-argument centers on the financial burden and the potential loss of reps for developing talents like our rookies. If we commit too much capital to a stopgap player, we might stall the growth of those who need live experience to reach their full potential. According to Pro Football Focus, there are several intriguing paths, including targeting established veterans like Jadeveon Clowney or Joey Bosa, while others suggest taking a chance on someone like Yetur Gross-Matos, who posted a 75.7 grade on 121 pass rushing snaps last season. And I'll be straight with you, some of these trade rumors involving names like Myles Murphy or James Houston feel like a reach. While bringing in another body is logical, I think it is an overstatement to suggest we need a massive blockbuster deal to fix the room. We should prioritize a cost-effective veteran signing to bolster the unit without sacrificing our long-term flexibility. Here is where I land on this. While the front office needs to be proactive, we should trust in the development of our internal candidates like Dallas Turner, who produced 42 pressures and 9 sacks last year. We have enough talent already in the building to make this work, provided we stay healthy. Bringing in one focused, affordable addition is the smartest play to round out our roster and help us stay in contention for a deep playoff run. As we look toward the 2026 season, it is clear that the Vikings are building a sustainable foundation designed for long-term success under the leadership of Nolan Teasley. The strategy of balancing emerging talent like Dallas Turner with savvy veteran acquisitions signals a front office that is committed to winning now without mortgaging our future. And the more I look at this, the path forward seems anchored in Brian Flores and his ability to maximize defensive production despite roster depth concerns. You should feel confident and optimistic about this direction because we have a proven defensive identity that consistently challenges the best offenses in the league. Even with injuries to Andrew Van Ginkel last season, the progression of younger players gives us reason to trust in the coaching staff's vision for the secondary and the pass rush. While the uncertainty surrounding our edge depth remains a valid talking point, the proactive approach being taken by the front office to monitor free agents like Jadeveon Clowney or potential trade targets like Myles Murphy ensures that we are not standing still. We are in a transitional phase where patience with developing draft picks is matched by an urgent need to secure a reliable veteran presence for immediate impact. This dual approach is exactly what a championship-caliber team needs to navigate the physical demands of an entire campaign. We have the right leadership in Kevin O'Connell to tie these pieces together into a cohesive unit that can compete deep into the winter months. Between targeting a proven veteran like Yetur Gross-Matos or taking a swing on a trade for a player like James Houston, which option would you prefer the front office prioritize before training camp officially begins? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Skol. I'll see you in the next one.